Really trying to not turn this into a rant, but different doesn't always mean good. I'm seeing this, and I'm just seeing all the same mistakes being made again. I don't know. I'm frustrated. That's the best word I can probably attach to this whole experience. I'm just frustrated. So I'm a man of my word. I said I'd do another PvZ3 video. This is gonna be, I think, more of a talking video. I know I initially said that I was maybe gonna sit down, play the last like 10 levels, and then we were gonna talk about it. Honestly, you clicked on this video because you want to hear what I've got to say about it. So let's just cut out the middleman. Let's just talk about it. I got done playing this last night. This is my second attempt at filming this segment because I did the first one right after I got done playing the last level, and I might have been a bit harsh about it. What? But I've now sat down, I've had a chance to play the whole thing, I've watched all the cutscenes, and I've had a chance to think about it a little bit. Let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with what I like. First of all, the music. 10 out of 10. Absolutely love the music in this game. It's like the one thing that PopCap always gets right is the soundtrack. Absolutely fantastic. Some of the songs, especially the one from the swamp section, brilliant. I might even have it playing in the background of this video right now, honestly. It's that good. So the music, that always seems to be the thing that PopCap never lets you down on. Music was brilliant, loved it. I have not read the PvZ comics myself, but apparently some of the characters that feature in this beta are from the comics, and apparently they make a lot of references to the comics. And if that's the case, that's quite cool. Get a bit of the lore in there, a bit of the backstory. I like that. Characters like Patrice. So that's cool. I dig that. And I know a lot of people hate the art style. I could live with it. Yeah, it is a step down, but I'm not really going to sit here and get that bent out of shape over an art style. So if they do decide to stick with this going forward, okay. I know it's very much a mixed bag, but honestly, me personally, I'm fine with it. And, God, I think that's it. God. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah, no, that's actually, I'm afraid the praises and the compliments end there. That's all I got. So what would be my points of criticism? I got a couple. I think the easiest way I can start this is with a question. What is this supposed to be? I know it seems like a really vague question, but what I'm trying to ask is, what is this game trying to be? Because I have no idea. I feel like PvZ since 2019 has almost been having like an identity crisis where the franchise doesn't actually know what it wants to be anymore. They kind of looked at what they had built up with all of the older games, PvZ 1, PvZ 2, Garden Warfare 1, Garden Warfare 2, Heroes, other little bits and pieces they did. And it's quite clear that they've gone, all right, we don't really want to go in for this kind of thing anymore. Okay, cool. So what do you want to go for? Wing it and see what happens? Yeah. I just couldn't help but ask the question while I was sat here playing this. Like, I don't know what this game's trying to be, but it doesn't feel like PvZ. There were quite clearly a lot of things that were different about this. There were a lot of changes that they made, and that would be fine. The problem is, there was not a single change, not a single thing that was different about this that actually jumped out to me. Like, this is a good change. I'm glad they changed this. Even BFN had a few decent changes about it. To name a couple off tops, they got rid of spotting icons. I was glad they did that. I liked the way they had the little bar above the health bar that was like your health regen. So when that bar filled up, then that's when your health started regenning and you could actually regen back to full health. That was a good change. Battle Arena was a good change. My issue with BFN was the bad changes they made were about some of the most fundamental things. And, you know, having a health regen bar wasn't going to save that. This wasn't even like that. This felt like there were changes, but there were no improvements. Contrary to popular belief, I'm actually not against trying new things. What I'm against is taking everything that made your first two games so successful and taking a steaming shit on it under the guise of innovation. That's what I'm against. I don't want this game to fall into the same trap that BFN did, where you just change shit for the sake of changing it, not because it actually makes sense. Different isn't always good. And you know what I say it all the time. You probably get sick and tired of me saying it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're just little things about this game, and I just couldn't help but ask myself why. What was the point? Let me break it down for you. First of all, the life system. Get rid of that straight away. Please don't ever become that game that does this whole, well, actually, I think you'll find you've had your 5 lives now, so either cough the fuck up or come back tomorrow. Why? Do you want people to play your game or not? Don't ever, ever, ever become that game. It is one of the biggest turnoffs. And don't get me wrong, I get it. You know, this game is probably going to be free when it comes out. It's a mobile game. You got to make your money somehow. You know, I know the landscape. There are just so many better ways that you could do it than this. Don't let this be the way that you do it. I would rather pay for the game outright or have an unskippable ad in between every single level than have a life system. You're literally discouraging people from grinding the game. And that makes no sense to me. I would have thought you want people to play the game as much as possible. So get rid of that, first of all. This game feels really oversimplified for no reason. I'm not being funny. PvZ is not rocket science. It's a pretty simplistic game. I've never looked at Plants vs. Zombies as a tower defense game and thought, yeah, this needs to be simplified. I saw a really good comment that summed it up perfectly. They said, this beta feels like 50 levels of a tutorial. It really did. Honestly, I can't word it better myself. And this is not so much a criticism of PopCap, this is a criticism of modern gaming. They try and baby you the whole time. It pisses me off when I'm playing a game and they're trying to hold my hand the whole time. No, stop. I'm not 5. I know I behave like it sometimes, but I'm talking about things like you don't even get to pick your plants anymore. What is that all about? And you can't even make the argument of, oh, well, it's because you don't have that many different plants. I'm sure once you get more, they'll let you pick, because it's like you'll play a level and you'll be allowed to use Bonk Choy. And then suddenly the next level, you're not allowed to use him. And then you're allowed to use the Silver Sword, one of the new plants. And then the next level, oh, you can't use him now. And it's like, why? What if I want to use him? Really, that was one of the worst things for me, is that they pick your plants for you. For me, one of the most fun things about tower defense games is the variety. The fact that you can kind of mold your own style. And there was really no better example of that than the original PvZ. You go through the game, you collect all these plants, and you can fuck about with it. You can try your own strategies. You can try like different combinations. And not only was that then encouraging you to actually think about it and think strategically, but it just makes the game so much more fun. It adds a bit of variety to it. Feels like there's no variety in this game at all. They don't even want you to think for yourself. Oh God, it's like society. You're not even supposed to think, or like, you're just supposed to sit there like, yes, these are the plants that you'll be playing. This is exactly where you're going to place that Bonk Choy. You're going to take it up the arse now. It just doesn't make sense. Feels like they don't actually want you to think for yourself. They want you to just sit there and let them tell you what to do. Either that, or they just think that you're too stupid to figure it out for yourself. And whichever one it is, it's not like, it's a lose-lose. It's bad either way. So I hope that's just something they've done for the beta, and that isn't going to be a thing when the full game comes out. And while we're talking about, when the full game comes out, let's just like address one thing real quick. I'm sick and tired of this argument of, well, actually, I think you'll find it's just a beta, so you can't criticize it because it's not the full game. It could get better. Fuck off. The whole point of a beta is to get feedback. This is what we have been given. They have given us this and said, let us know what you think. So this is what I'm going to give feedback on. Argument makes no sense. You sound like that one motherfucker from Friends. Oh, who's the old boy that lives below them? Mr. Heckles, is it? Where it's like, oh, you don't have a cat. I could have a cat. You're not a professional athlete. I could be a professional athlete. This game isn't very good. This game could be good. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Really trying to not turn this into a rant, but let's be honest, you've been here long enough. You know, no one on planet Earth has more of a natural instinct to whinge about everything than myself. I'm not going to say much about the balance, because that is something that is very much, that could just kind of change anytime. I will kind of touch on it quickly because it can link in with the point about you not being able to pick your own plants. Pretty much, Bonk Choy, I would say probably the best plant in this. Bonk Choy was really good. Cabbage Pulp was really good. Silver Sword wasn't bad. Silver Sword bait, he's kind of like Gloom Shroom. You know, when you upgrade your Fume Shroom in PvZ 1, that's kind of what Silver Sword was. Pea Shooter was rubbish. Just at any time I played a level and Pea Shooter was my only offensive plant, I was just like, for fuck's sake. And Bamboo Shoot was a plant that also exists. But you know what I mean? It feels like you get to certain levels and like when they only give you Pea Shooter, you feel like you've been shafted because you're like, oh God, this is all I get. It just, not being able to pick your plants just completely kills the variety of the game. And I have to say, even for these 50 levels, it made the game very boring. And speaking of levels, that's another thing. There was very, very little variation, I would say, until the final section. All of the levels were exactly the same. They're incredibly short. They last about 40 seconds. So it's like by the time you've even processed what's happening, it's already finished. And it was just the same shit every time. It was just, oh, we're going to send a couple of brown coats and a couple of imps. And then we're going to send a wave of brown coats and imps and maybe a conehead. It really wasn't until the last sort of 5 levels when they actually started mixing it up a little bit. You got like bowling zombies, you got like special kind of imps that run on wheels so they can go faster in certain environments. I think there was one gargantua throughout the entire thing. So there was just very little variation in the levels. All that really changed was like every 10 to 15 levels, the background changes and the music changes, and the gimmicks that each new environment brought in just felt kind of lazy. Like, just not a lot of thought really went into it. Kind of like, yeah, let's just make this happen because it makes it seem different. It's deja vu. It's deja vu from 2.5 years ago. Is it a Neighborville thing? Is it like, we're just like cruising along, having a great time, windows down, Casey and the Sunshine Band comes on the radio. I love that one, it slaps. And then as soon as it's anything to do with Neighborville, we're going that way. I don't know. I can't wrap my head around it. And it's just frustrating because I was there for BFN and I'm seeing this and I'm just seeing all the same mistakes being made again. Different doesn't always mean good. There's a currency, and you use that currency to pay to watch the next cutscene to progress in the story. Why? You would go in here and it would have like the next cutscene, and you basically have to play the levels, you earn tickets, and then you use the tickets to buy the next cutscene. Why? That's the only question that I can really ask. Just what's the point? If you want to have a story and you want to build a narrative and you want to, like, what was wrong with having cutscenes in between levels? Because if you have it on this system where you have to pay for the next cutscene, surely if that's going to do anything at all, it's just going to throw the pacing off. Surely it's just going to fuck up the pacing. Just have cutscenes in between the levels. It ain't that deep. You had it right the first time. The coins, I finally discovered what the coins are used for, because I think they did briefly mention it. You use the coins to buy more power-ups. And speaking of power-ups, not overly keen on the fact that Cherry Bomb and Jalapeno have been reduced to just being power-ups. Kind of begs the question, what other plants are going to get relegated to that league? But again, I found myself sat there asking myself, like, what was wrong with Cherry Bomb just being a playable plant that you can just include in your setup? Jalapeno as well. Is that just going to end up being every plant that would fall under that umbrella? Doom Shroom, Iceberg Lettuce. There's a bunch of them in PvZ2 that I haven't got yet. Things like EM Peach. The single use plants. Yeah, I just didn't see the point in that. Having one lawnmower instead of 5, another one. It wasn't a change that needed to be made. And I feel like you've just changed them for the sake of changing them. And that's not good. That's a step backwards, not forwards. Or at the very best, sideways. Grapes of Wrath, that was just... Is that supposed to be Plant Food's replacement? Fuck, man. What a downgrade. I thought, when I started playing PvZ2, I thought Plant Food was one of the coolest things they introduced in that game, because it kind of felt like every plant had its own special ability. They all did different things, and you could work strategies around it. You could figure out different ways to use it to your advantage. And now it feels like it's just been reduced to, oh yeah, the thing shoots grapes every now and then, and it helps a little bit. It just feels like you changed it for the sake of changing it. It feels like virtually all of the changes you've made in this, you've done not because you thought it was going to be an improvement, but just because it was going to be different. At that point, why even make a PvZ3? Make an entirely different game at that point. I could go on, but I think I've rambled on about it long enough. Please, try and understand. I'm not saying all of this to be a dick. I know a lot of people think that I shit on these games for the good of my health. I do it because I want to see the game improve. I actually want this game to be good, but apparently I'm one of the only ones out here actually willing to tell you what you don't want to hear. I'm just frustrated. I've not spent a whole lot of time with the tower defense games. It's only really this year that I've started playing them. I'm already I can't believe I've gone for so long without playing these games. Really feel like I've been missing out. But now I look at this and I'm seeing history repeating itself. And some people have come to me and they said they think this is going to be the game that saves the franchise. On the contrary, I think this could possibly be the final nail in the coffin if it stays like this. This, I think, would just be another hole in the sinking ship. But this is different. This isn't BFN. This is the main part of the franchise. This is a much bigger deal. So I think if this torpedo hits, this could just be the one to sink it. And I really don't want that to happen. I love this franchise. It's amazing. I don't want to see it go down like this. They're going to have to go way back to the drawing board with this one. Absolutely no idea how long this video is going to be. I feel like I've sat here and rambled for about a week and a half. If you are still watching, I really appreciate it. I mean, I know I'm effectively just pissing in the wind because I know PopCap don't like me very much and they're not going to listen to a damn word that I've got to say. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the issue. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think of this? If you played it, what did you think of the beta? Let me know, man. Am I spitting facts? Am I chatting shit? I don't know. I'm frustrated. That's the best word I can probably attach to this whole experience. I'm just frustrated.